Okay, Bert and I just talked for a good 15 minutes before we hit the record button. So this girl is my college teammate. Yes, she was. And actually, Bert, I actually can claim I was your first roommate at college. Remember that from preseason?
Oh my gosh. No, I didn't remember that till you just said that.
Your nickname Bird, like, I don't even know if I'd even introduce you as Laura Kuhn. Nobody knows you as Laura Kuhn. Everybody and their brother knows you as a Bird. So Bird, how did you get that nickname?
Bird legs from my dad. Ever since I was little, I was like a month early. I've always had really long, skinny legs. They're obviously not like that anymore. I've worked out since, but I still do not have calf muscles. And that is the one thing. Like, if you want to make me jealous, and my sister has really good calf muscles. So it's not like it's genetics, but like, how? We were doing handstands in her pool, and I'm like, dude, your calf muscles are like popping out of your legs right now. And mine do nothing. They're just nothing. There's just there.
Well, I don't know how you did it with those legs and calf muscles because you could fly and off of one foot was like your thing. And I remember, Bird, taking you back to one practice, we were going to compete against a player that just ran along the net and did a 1 foot attack right in front of the setter. And so we're like, okay, maybe Bird can run this attack. So they threw you, remember this practice, they threw you into the scout team on the other side and you just kept running the same play. And we couldn't stop you. I remember playing right back defense at the time going like, oh my gosh. And then at one point, because you were like hitting 1,000, we couldn't stop you. And at one point, the coaches stopped the practice, look around, and they're like, maybe we should add this in our offense. It was like unstoppable with your 1 foot. So players, I'm giving a little like, you know how your mom, yeah, when your mom say, oh, I played college volleyball. Guys, Bird could play and she could go off of 1 foot and crack a ball. Do you remember that, Bird?
I mean, I had a fast arm, and I don't know if I was ever flying, but yes, speed kills, people. Speed kills. It was the location. It was the ball control. It was everything. It was the perfect storm for all of us.
What do you remember about those days that stand out that you've carried over to coaching?
Oh, gosh. Ball control. How significant it is, and then you appreciate it. Like, thinking about Marissa, our libero, and how we pass two all the time. Like, it was better for us to pass two because Lauren and I never passed. It's like the things that I'm like, why didn't you take my scholarship, Bond? Like, how? The off blocker thing. I remember calling Bond my first season in coaching at App State. And I was like, I'm sorry that I never picked up an off blocker tip. That's like one of the easiest things, but that's like how I connect to some of our players. I get it, dude. I know that you're over here. And I don't even know what I used to think about. I don't know what I was doing. I don't know. How do you just actually forget that that's the only thing you have to do? I did it too. I'm guilty of it. Like, I have those conversations to this day. I get it.
I get it. Yeah, you can't hold it against them because you're like, been there, done that. But yeah, when you had a good ball control people that could read. And I always laugh because we went to the Elite Eight. We were ranked 4th in the nation. And I remember Soji at Hawaii in the newspaper, he said, they may not look like a volleyball team, but they sure in the heck play like one. We were a bunch of thick chicks that could play. So even with avoiding that off blocker defense, I mean, you could put it down offensively, Bird.
Keely, you just made me so happy. Hashtag thick chicks. I love hashtags. That's exactly it. I was just talking to the guys, Colby and Wendell, and I'm like, I hope she doesn't have highlights from when we played. I was watching the Nebraska match when I was just back in Ohio. I sent Lauren and Danny pictures and clips. First of all, it was a VHS tape. So the quality, my mom goes, can't we adjust the tracking? I'm like, Mom, it's a VHS tape. No, like, duh. And I was like, we don't even look like we're jumping. Like, that's how used to watching volleyball now and recruiting and stuff. I'm like, we look like thick chicks that like just were, you know?
We could beat people by going like equal with them on height, but we could get through the seams. So if we had that ball control, we can go fast enough. We were going through the seams. Yes.
Yes. We were the team that I'm scared of now. Like, yeah, you have to play at the tape. You have to like half jump to block because they're going to like beat you up. And if they're fast, like that offense, the speed. Yeah, dude.
Yeah, that's good. The team you're now afraid to play. But what you're doing now, and I see that, and I actually listened to like a post-game talk that you had with your team, and you said you guys are building your own experience because you lived a great experience. We all did. And this is why we're still connected somehow to the game of volleyball. And now what you're doing, Bird, you just flipped a program around in 2 years of coaching. You got SEC Coach of the Year. How have you done it?
First of all, I've learned how to take a compliment because to me, it's never awards. You know that. We played together forever. But that is the biggest compliment to the program and the staff and the players and everyone since we've been here that contributed. Like, Coach of the Year is a program award, and that makes me more proud than anything. Like, anything. Our first season here, the foundation was already here, great humans, and House, our senior, our lone senior that season, was probably one of the best leaders I've ever had in a program. You know what I mean? And so from that first season, that first spring, us all getting to know each other, it started there. And then it's just grown from that. You know what I mean? So, I mean, it's just, I believe it's living right. And that's one of the things we talk about every day. Like, we don't have a lot of rules, but it's like, you got to be responsible, hold each other accountable, but you got to live right. And that's day to day. That's not just in the gym. That's not just when your coaches are talking to you. That's like life. Like, how you communicate with your academic advisors, how you communicate with your teammates, how you communicate to the people at the nutrition center. You know what I mean? Like, but that's just how you live. It's like just having real conversations and being a real person.
Bird, you are the like most genuine person I know. You just are authentic. Like, when people get to know you, everyone loves Bird. And I remember after I played in Spain, I came back and I was a college coach just like you, and I was on the recruiting trail, and I was just tagging along with my friend Bird, and I just watched you work. You knew everyone loved you, and you got the top recruits. And everywhere that you went, Bird, it's like absolutely amazing. The last 3 universities you've been at, your head coaches have received Coach of the Year once or up to 3 times, Bird. And your recruiting of getting the players in, how do you do it?
It's so funny to me. It's not work, number one, and it's not brain surgery. It's like this. It's like our relationship. That's what it is to me. You know what I mean? Like, I am a real person. I talk to people and I genuinely have conversations. I don't have like a list of like 1,000 or 100 or 50 or 20 recruits. It's like, I want to like get to know the people that I like, get to know them as people, build that relationship, allow them to make a decision. And then, but all of it's a relationship. There are kids that I'm super close with that didn't come to the schools that I may have recruited them to. You know what I mean? But the volleyball world is so small, you're going to cross paths. Like, they're going to get into coaching. They're going to go play overseas. They're going to need something at some point, the same that I would. You know what I mean? Like, to me, it's all a relationship. It's never been a job, and it's never felt like work. It's like, I get to go hang out and see people that I want to like talk to. And I always say it's not brain surgery to me. I have way smarter people around me that are like analyzing the game and all that. Like, even that, sometimes it makes me laugh. Like, our staff conversations, like, I'd rather sit and talk about obviously life and what we did. I can't remember matches, but I can remember like what we did at the hotel before the match. Like, when Abby and I put all that makeup on like a bunch of fools and looked crazy. It's like, what? And that's how I think I can coach these kids and be like, yeah, what are you doing before, you know, whatever. We didn't have social media. Like, it was.
Thank God, right? Bird, thank God.
Yeah, thank God. For sure. I think that all the time. Like, yeah.
And Bird, I remember after college, you were actually figuring out what you're going to do and just almost not, thrown into coaching, but it was like sort of like, let me try coaching. So talk to those college graduates that are really figuring out what they want to do, and what lessons did you learn to try to figure that out? Now, one of the best coaches out there.
I think you never know. I never wanted to leave Atlanta. I bawled my eyes out. I was so mad at Aletha, who was my assistant. She told Bond, this is her thing. She needs to do this. I'm not going to coach, you know, whatever. Because I coached club in Atlanta. But yeah, I mean, I think you just have to try things out. It's just like any job, really. But I've talked to just volunteer candidates and things like that, and just people on the road when you're recruiting or at the Final Four. And I just say it's simple. Like, be a human, be the person you are, be you, be authentic. We talked to our team about just be you. We're not trying to we're shaping you, but we're not trying to put you into like, this is how you have to be. We want your personality. Like, I sprinkle your personality, that we want all of it. So I say that to coaches too, like young coaches, like, how'd you do this? How'd you do that? And I'm like, you just try things. You create your style. Like, you have to be you, or you're never going to be comfortable, and just build relationships. Like, you're going to learn positive, negative, whatever it is, you're going to learn in every experience you're at. Like, whether it's coaching, whether it's a job. I mean, I was a bank teller. Like, boring.
And Bert, this is why you're a great leader. Like all what you just talked about, your leadership of just getting people to be who they are. Now talk about what's going on in our world right now with this Black Lives Matter, the joining of unity to bring that to sports. What are you doing with that?
So first of all, sports bring all of us together. Like sport has always been that. And I think it's coming, like it's obviously a huge movement right now that's necessary. So I commend our players and our team because one of our youngest, she was a freshman this last year. She actually sent a text in our group message that week that George Floyd was killed. And I apologize. I called her. I apologized to a couple of other players because we didn't bring it up first. We had talked about it as a staff, but we hadn't addressed it. Well, starting that week, that next day, our Zoom was all about this. And so we've had conversations. We've started, I got a course from Aletha, my good friend, this 30-day course. And it's basically like educational and your own awareness. And it's got to be voluntary, but there has to be a platform for it. So we're having conversations and it was tough, but it was so cool to see them open up to each other and be vulnerable and just share like, oh my gosh, like I didn't even know. I've never even thought like that. I've never had to think that, or that's what it's all about though. It's not right, wrong, and different. It's like learning and being together. That relationship, and I told them same thing. These conversations and what's happening right now is still going to shape the relationships. So 10 years from now, the conversations that you and I have based on our experience, that you're going to continue to have them. I'm having conversations with like Freddie and the guys and even some of the girls that we hung out with, but things that we went through in college that we were oblivious to. Like, I don't even remember some of the situations that we've talked about because I was just naive. I just wasn't paying attention. I wasn't aware. And I'm like, how have we been friends for 20 years and we've never talked about that? And it's just like, because it just wasn't, you're not supposed to notice it or whatever. So it's been awesome because I think all of the conversations with any of us and our experiences, it's relevant and it's like a real thing, whether you want to see it or not. And so I'm happy to be a part of the conversation. And yes, we're all learning, but it's also our jobs to be a part of it. You know what I mean? And that's like anyone I talk to, whether it's a younger student athlete or a colleague of mine or someone in just the world when I'm traveling or driving to a gas station. You know what I mean? Like that to me is where like we have to be connected.
All right. And creating unity is what you do, Bird. And it is your gift, hands down. And you're doing that. I see what you're doing with your team. And I'm sort of cheering for you. I was like, go win the first national championship for a female. Do it, Bird. We're cheering for you.
You're so funny because you'll tweet that stuff and like say stuff, like comment on things. I'm like, oh, Keely.
Oh, Keely.
And we're like sisters, but also I'm like, oh, she's like my crazy aunt or like my, it's so funny.
Yeah, girl, Bird, you got all of us teammates that just love and adore you. And you can call up every single one. Everyone loves Bird. Everyone does.
Wait, do you remember, gosh, I don't even know where to go with everything from college. When we used to not bet.
A Coke?
Like, yes, you used to be like, dude, we would like do things for every match.
Well, funny enough, there's a video, like you got a block. You turn around, I'm like right up in your face. It looks like I'm yelling at you, but the deal was if you got a block, because I was right back, I didn't want to eat balls. Like I didn't want to sit there and get them. So if you got a block, I would give you a Coke, like buy you a Coke. So that was the deal. So after you got a block, the video, and people have shown me, they're like, oh, you were a mean setter. I go, no, I was telling her I was going to buy her a Coke for that one.
Yeah, we were probably like keeping a tally. No, you were like not a mean setter at all. You were probably like, hey, why don't you move and get that off blocker tip?
Well, we had you. We didn't care, Bert. I mean, you put up the blocks and you could go off of 1 foot. We were good.
Oh my gosh. I told the guys I would not care if you used the clip from Hawaii because I feel like everyone somehow at camp, when I was at Kansas, Billy, one of the coaches that was working camp, he's now the assistant at Kansas. He pulled up our match against Hawaii and was showing everyone at lunch the play. It was like 5 points into the match when I laid the off blocker tip and then I said it like no one was gonna notice it. And Gergen was like at my knees, like at my knee pads, like almost biting me. Like so mad.
Oh, that's so good.
Bert, are you a Division I athlete? Why did you just do that? I like didn't want the ball to hit the ground, so I just was like boop, 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 and just like played it again. What?
It's Elite Eight. Nobody's gonna notice. Nobody's gonna notice.
We're not going to go to the Final Four. I'm just over here like peppering with myself. What? God, Bird.
Oh gosh, Bird. Oh,
There are so
gosh.
many things.
Oh man, so many things. That was good. Oh man, but yeah, we love you, Bird.
I love
Man.
you.